TOTA is gone. Tattoos are gone. Hi, Zizaran here with another video, and today we're going to talk about what they're doing for TOTA, and it is not currently going core, but generally I'm quite okay with that. I don't think any mechanic should instantly go core anyway. I think they should always take a step back and think about how does this fit into the game. There's pretty much no downside of that, and just there's only downsides to a mechanic going instantly core because we'll have things like harvest happen. They have announced yesterday confirming that most of it will not go core. I think there was some boss stuff or drops that was going core, but none of the tattoos, etc., are going to be obtainable anymore. Which is a bit of a shame. I think tattoos were one of the most Path of Exile things ever. And the league mechanic itself, it was kind of nice because it gave you something to do. Well, on hardcore, it gave you something to do when you were really distracted or watching a movie or really busy and you didn't want to die. And I think that's something I've come to appreciate about RuneScape, in that you can be playing hardcore RuneScape, but there are things like fishing, etc., that are completely danger-free, right? You cannot die while doing them. And Path of Exile doesn't really have a lot of that. And obviously, you could just not play hardcore and have these issues at all. But I do think there's like value in a game having completely safe activities that you can do. So that was kind of fun. Are you looking for a new PC with Path of Exile 2 and other ARPGs on the horizon? If you're looking for a new PC, the Horizon line offers a great PC for the everyday gamer. Then you have the Voyager line for content creators and people really looking for a top-of-the-line PC. But while the logo might give you a hard time, the PCs will not. If you're looking for pre-built PCs, I'm using one myself. They've been really great so far. Can't go wrong with this one. Give yourself an edge for the upcoming year of game releases by heading over to starforgesystems.com and grab one of the best PCs in the universe. TOTA Uniques are saying, so Tula's Hunger, Rakiata's Dance, and Defiance of Destiny is particularly strong, and this is great news for people that love making immortal builds, or at least immune to like hits. Now, I do think tattoos will see a comeback to the game at some point, and I think they're very easy to balance because you can limit how many tattoos you can have. You could have like a max of 5 tattoos or 8 tattoos or whatever. Like there's like limits like that. Even if you have 3 tattoos, that would make quite a big difference. Being able to switch out 30 decks for like 12 all stats or 12 chaos res. You know, these are pretty big things. Getting a little bit of suppression here, getting the Makangas in, anything like that. Very, very interesting. And I think it adds a lot of like choice, a lot of player agency, and yeah, I really, really liked it. And it makes you optimize your affixes, right? Instead of getting 20 attributes on a ring, you might really want to get 55. So very, very fun to play with. And very early, I was like playing Trade League and having whoops like auto searchers for like 55 dex, 55 int, 55 strength, and I was buying all of those early for surprisingly cheap in a league where I knew they were going to be super necessary, and they did go up to like 6 to 12 divines, maybe even more at the end of the league for the fractured tier 1. And I got so many of them early cheap because early, you know, people are trying to figure out what's going to be good, and if you're an experienced player, you can like capitalize on that, and you probably already know what's going to be good. They were also a little game warping, however, with the defensive side being very, very meta to go like full physical damage taken and conversion, and making that a lot easier and making suppression a lot easier as well. Like it was so easy to get suppression, and I really liked the Warrior's Tail jewel, like enhancing the tattoos. So it remains to be seen if it's a one-time thing. I do think that will come back at some point because they're a very Path of Exile mechanic. Speaking of mechanics, the TOTA mechanic itself, this was very polarizing. Some people despised it, and personally, I think I've never hated a mechanic as much in the start. And I remember like in Act 1 or Act 2, like when you have like no damage, etc., and doing this, I was like, this is infuriating. And I posted that like Inception meme, like this little maneuver is gonna set us back like 60 years or whatever. Because I did it at the start of Act 2, and it literally took me 15 minutes to do the second round. And I was like, man, I could literally be in Act 3 or at the end of Act 3 right now if I hadn't engaged with League Mechanic. I was pissed because I was like so close, and I just didn't want to give up because I was like, what if I get a really good unique, right? Surely if it's this fucking awful and takes this long, rewards must be good. Nope. The mechanic I'm less fussed on and could take it or leave it. Like, it wasn't my favorite thing ever, even though I did start enjoying it quite a lot. I didn't go to like 2000 TOTA. I still think it would be good to come back. It would be really, really cool. It's something they could do as like a April's Fools or just like a fun PvP event, like being able to play TOTA against each other. That'd be really fun. But yeah, you could easily have like an item that drops that gives you access to the full tournament, right? I think that'd be interesting. A lot of the stuff that we saw was like PoE 2 skills as well, right? Like we see a lot of the skills we've seen in PoE 2 is what the monsters are using to attack us. So it would be interesting to see if they're just kind of like, you know, this is already PoE 2 stuff that's being reused. We don't care about wasting it and not having a good core, or if they're going to try to fit it in the game somehow. As for Hinakora's Lock, this was one of the most broken currencies to ever grace the game. It literally lets you safely double corrupt Mage Bloods. I bought 5. I think I only used 3 or 2. I don't know. I think I still have some. We'll still be able to use these in Standard if you want it as a trophy. They're obviously going to be super expensive after a while. They just keep like going up and up in cost. But there are people that have literally thousands of locks. So it will take a few years for them to really go up to like a few hundred mirrors, but eventually they'll be same price as Eternal Orbs. And like they're very different than Eternal Orbs because an Eternal Orb doesn't like help you double corrupt something, but you can safely double corrupt with a Hinakora's Lock, and you get to take 2 corrupt outcomes. You can take a single corrupt and a double corrupt. So very interesting. I'm not a huge fan of items like this. That being said, it was an absolute blast of a league, and I no longer know what my favorite league is. It's between this and Sanctum. Obviously, Sanctum, I played Pro SF with Steelmage and had a blast, and I think your favorite league is always going to depend a little bit on what happened to you and what did you do. And I did play with Steelmage this league too. We did like some group play, we did some Magic Find, etc. And I just had such a fun time both leagues. So I think my top 3 now is definitely Sanctum, TOTA, and Sentinel. Sentinels were combinators made for such a fun experience. And it's a really, really good sign for me that some of my favorite leagues have been in the last year or 2. So that's really, really cool for me. I had like a year where I only had leagues I hated, like around the Blight era, Blight and Heist and Expedition. Like I didn't like any of those leagues. So it's been really great for me lately, and I played like nearly 700 or 800 hours this league. So really, really good, and just had a lot of fun. Looking forward to the December release. And either way, I hope you guys enjoy the videos. Thanks for watching. So if you like it, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.